Why smart people do not close deals. Now, that seems to be a counterintuitive comment. We want to be smart, we want to be intelligent, but here's where the problem comes in. An awful lot of people who are smart or think they are smart end up wanting to convince the other person of that. So they end up talking a lot and they don't listen. And deals aren't closed by the smartest person around. Does that sometimes helps? Yeah, it does. But what usually happens is deals are closed by the people who listen the most to the other side, understand what they want, understand what you can do for them. And that's a really important thing to keep in your head, is every time you write a letter, have an interaction, have a discussion, be thinking, if I was on the other side of this table or call listening to this, and I was thinking, what's in it for me, you would be able to get an answer to that. And to be able to do that, you need to understand what the other person wants. A lot of people, for instance, say, well, my board has 200 years experience. So what? What does that do for me? Does that mean you have to pay them a lot of money and so you're going to be taking cash out of our deal to pay for them? Not necessarily a positive. We think oftentimes we know what's in their head, but the best way to know is to ask. What does a perfect deal look like for you? What is it that you're looking to accomplish? And get those answers. Is it the highest price and that's it? Is it the legacy of the business? Is it perhaps my employees? Is it the patients if you're in healthcare? I don't know what it is for that person you're talking to, but you will not find that out unless you get a lucky guess, which I wouldn't gamble on, or you ask the questions which give you the answer to that. Back in my corporate career, we had operations meetings, and I ended up once a month going to an operations meeting in one of the divisions I had responsibility for. And there was a guy that worked for me, and after his presentation, the CEO said, Bruce, stick around, I want to talk to you for a minute. And so everybody left, about 30 people in the room, and he said, don't bring that guy to these meetings anymore. And I said, why is that? And he says, you know why? Because I ask him what time it is, and he tells me how to build a watch. So I said, give me one more shot. He said, well, okay, but it's on you if the same thing happens again. I get it. And so I said to that person that reported to me, here's what the CEO said. Ask you what time it is, you tell him how to build a watch. So when he asks you a question next time, imagine you only know 2 words at the start. Yes and no. Can you do this? Yes or no. And stop. He will ask you, well, tell me how you're going to do that. That's a different scenario. But yes and no, great answers. So he did that. It was still a battle to keep him focused on yes and no, but it worked out pretty well. But it's a great example of him wanting to teach everybody in the room how smart he was. And you don't need to do that. If you just ask the right questions, show that you're listening. One of the things that's going to be interesting, and it's the reason that with communication, we say, and this came from Chris Voss, 7% is the words, 38% is the tone of voice, and 55% is body language. And that's the reason in person or Zoom tells you so much. If it's only an email that you're corresponding with, you get 7%. If you're on a phone, you get tone of voice. So now you're up to 45%, the 7 plus the 38. And if you have a meeting face-to-face or in Zoom, computer to computer, you will have the other 55%. And you'll be able to tell if you're talking about how great this deal is and how great your team is and how great you are, and you see the person looking over at their phone, looking at some piece of paper, looking at their watch. In an in-person meeting, if somebody's looking at their watch, usually a bad sign. It tells you, if you pay attention, you know what, I'm not connecting. So ask an open-ended question. Again, what's important to you? They will be thinking, whoa, somebody who asks what's important to me? That doesn't happen very often. So why smart people do not close deals? Oftentimes it's they talk too much and they listen too little. Turn that equation around, and you're going to find out that you build trust better, you can meet their needs better, and ultimately, you can close more deals.